The time has come for Warzone 2, so let's make it look as beautiful as possible with the very best graphic settings out there right now. To start with, we have on-demand texture streaming. The default option for this is enabled, and you should absolutely keep it on this unless you're having some connection problems. Next up, we have world motion blur. Absolutely turn this off. Like many of the settings we're going to go through, they look kind of cool, but they're not going to help us in the game. And the same goes for weapon motion blur. They kind of look good, maybe on campaign keep them on, but when we're playing Warzone, it just makes it harder to actually see opponents sometimes. Same for film grain, turn this all the way down to 0. Depth of field, turn this off. This refers to when you're aiming in, the surrounding area around your sights goes blurry. Again, looks cool, but by turning it off, we might be able to see someone that we might not have been able to if it was left on. But before we head into the rest of the settings, I just want to tell you about today's sponsor, botlobbies.com. Botlobbies.com offer, well, a way to get bot lobbies on Call of Duty, whether that's on Warzone 2 or Modern Warfare 2. They use a mix of VPN and geofence technology to ensure you get the best chance to get easier lobbies. And the best thing about botlobbies.com is their service works across PC and console. The software they offer works by changing your skill-based matchmaking location to somewhere lower, but you'll still have low latency, so that means no lag when you're actually playing. And you can connect to servers in 28 different locations with their encrypted VPN. And then with their geofence technology, this lets you play in different parts of the world, which can help get easier lobbies by playing at off-peak hours in other locations. You can do all of this with ease. You just have 3 steps to set it up, which cover installing your software, configuring it, and then just loading into your easier lobbies. And they offer full support on all subscriptions, so they can help you out if you need it anyway. Botlobbies.com even offers monthly subscriptions, which you can cancel at any time, so you're not tied down for years. If this sounds like something that you'd like to try out, or you just want to learn more about it, be sure to head into the description where there's a link you can follow. Now, back to the graphics settings. For Fidelity FX, turn this on and turn it up all the way to 100. This ensures the game just looks as beautiful as possible, but if you are on an older gen console or a lower end PC, and you start getting some visual problems and graphic glitches, just turn this down or even off if it gets really bad. For 120Hz refresh rate, if you do have the option on newer generation consoles, definitely put this on. And then we have field of view. That's right, rejoice, we do have a field of view slider for consoles on Warzone. Currently, I've got mine on 110. This allows me to see plenty of things around me, but it's not too much that I can't actually see people that are far away. As that's the trade-off, right, with field of view. If we have it on 120, we can see a very wide field of view around us and we can see more, but for that, we can't see things further away that well as they appear smaller. Then for the settings within field of view, we want affected as our ADS field of view setting. This makes it so when we're aiming in, it looks more like our standard field of view setting. If you leave it on independent, you're going to be aiming in at ATFOV. This might help for killing people at longer distances, but you might miss someone flanking you around the sides, which the field of view setting gives us as an advantage. And then for the weapon field of view, I recommend putting this on wide. As it says here, the weapon looks smaller, and the advantage of that is it doesn't clog up as much of our screen, meaning we might be able to see something that we'd otherwise miss. That might be some loot, it might be an enemy. For third person field of view, crank this all the way up to 90. We can just see more around us, and longer distances don't seem too bad in terms of them being far away. Next up, we've got camera movement. Put this on as low as it can go, which is 50%. Again, this is one of those settings that might look pretty cool, but it's quite distracting. Some people even get motion sickness from it, and you might miss something on the screen. Within third person, when you aim down your sights, now you have the option of aiming in first person or third person. I recommend putting it in third person, it's less trippy and keeps more to a third person setting, but it's entirely up to you. And some of these are subjective, and the next one up is exactly that, the default spectator camera. Then as we go into brightness, I've actually got mine on 55, slightly higher than the default of 50. At the moment, Al Mazrah feels very well lit compared to, say, the early days of Verdansk. There are no dark corners as of yet, with people camping in them that you just can't see. 55 brightens up just a little, but not too much. For safe area, not super important, just get these arrows to the edge of your screen. And we're not done just yet, because if we head over to interface, we have a few more settings which are quite important. One of which is the color customization. So previously on console, to make the game look a little bit better, we'd have a mess around with the colorblind colorblind settings. And you can still do this here. The exact setting is up to you, but I recommend going on Filter 2 and applying that to both the interface and the world. Leaving the intensity seems okay to me at the moment. And then down here we also have a HUD color palette, which refer to those colorblind settings of Protanopia, Deuteranopia, and Tritanopia. They're not too important because it is just the HUD, although some of them do look quite cool. Next up, we've got subtitles. I recommend leaving these on. I know they can be quite distracting sometimes, but on other occasions, they can actually give you some info that you otherwise wouldn't have found out. For example, if an enemy is nearby and they're shooting or being shot or throwing some equipment, often your subtitles will tell you that. Equally, if you're teaming up with some people that don't speak much, the subtitles will tell you if they're doing something as well. For minimap shape, of course, we want this on square. We can just see more with this setting. And that's actually the final important graphic setting. The rest on here are very subjective and aren't too important, but hopefully this video has helped you out. And if you want to level up your Warzone 2 game even more, be sure to check out one of these videos.